acronym for MUD is.
I don't know what it is.
It's basically an artifact land denial deck. It's going to try to put a Chalice of the Void or a Sphere of Resistance into play very early off Goblin. So it's off Goblin Welder or off Metal Worker.
Yeah, I don't think MUD. Both players getting a high five from someone there. I'm not sure who. Both players have lots of artifacts in their deck.
So
MUD I don't think has an acronym. I think it's actually just MUD.
So Koepke with a start which makes an absurd amount of mana. Ancient Tomb into Grim Monolith. He will have 5 mana available at least next turn. Then Welder, Wasteland, Lodestone Golem, Kuldotha Forge Master.
Looks like another Kuldotha Forge Master is the 5th card.
Yes, I would agree.
So snagging a Forge Master, not exactly.
Well, it's probably, to be fair, it's probably the Lodestone Golem that Adam needs to get rid of. To be fair, though, Adam plays a large number of artifacts of his own. He may not actually care as much about Lodestone Golem as most decks.
True. There they are. That is most definitely another Kuldotha Forge Master. Devin Koepke playing the Welder version of MUD, which has red in it. Luckily, though, Prosak does have a blue spell or blue card to remove to Force of Will.
Despite the fact that Koepke has no red, Prosak's going to choose to remove the Goblin Welder. Welder, really one of the less fair cards which he in the deck.
Yep, especially because Koepke drew a Great Furnace there.
All right. Force of Will pitching Tezzeret. This is pretty good here. Koepke will deal another 2 damage to himself, and his Grim Monolith will not be untapping.
Koepke choosing not to wasteland Adam's Underground Sea. Adam grabbing a basic island out of his deck, which has a lot of very interesting things happening. It has a full playset of Baleful Strix, the main engine to the deck. It also has 3 Jace the Mind Sculptor and 3 Tezzeret Agent of Bolas. There's Baleful Strix. Devin needs a read. Unfortunately, I don't think we can give you one. It's a artifact creature owl. It's a bird, in fact. It's not. It's an owl in the art, I should say. It's an artifact creature 1/1. When it comes to play, you draw a card, and it has flying and death touch. Hey, there it is. Look at that.
All right. So, yeah, one of the more exciting cards out of Plane Chase.
Yes.
The newest Plane Chase set. We got pretty into it. It's called MUD because it's a mono brown deck, which I guess is kind of an explanation, though. To be honest,
MUD being brown and whatnot. This is in the long and illustrious tradition of naming legacy decks things that are absurd. Adam has an Ancient Tomb for the turn.
Right. So there's the red mana. Yeah, Adam keeping still, I think, assumes with the forcing of the, or with the taking of the Welder play. The problem is that Welder actually does quite a number on Adam's own deck. Remember that Welder targets either player. So the Metalworker comes with, so the Metalworker should, with Devin Koepke's hand, should be able to tap to make 4 mana, enough to untap a Grim Monolith, or more likely just to cast the remainder of his spells.
Right, casting the Kuldotha Forge Master, most likely, that's in hand, as this Lodestone Golem is a vanilla 5/3 for the most part in this matchup. There goes the Forge Master, leaving Devin with a Juggernaut.
So Prosak hurting himself a bit with the Ancient Tomb, but still pressing an advantage here. Getting an army of creatures. Really, he's
pressing into the red zone with his 1/1 flyer as well.
Metalworker creates 6 mana, casting Wormcoil Engine.
Wow, what a draw. Now this Wormcoil is
Lodestone Golem.
And Lodestone Golem in the same turn, 10 colorless mana. Now, Adam does have a Tezzeret in hand. He also has a Baleful Strix in play to be able to fend off this Wormcoil Engine.
I mean, to be fair, though, Koepke is resolved. I mean, Wormcoil Engine, one of those cards is very good in Standard. It costs, you know, really a prohibitive amount of mana for Legacy, unless you're doing something very broken to cast it, which Devin is doing.
Yes.
Once in play, the card is pretty unbeatable out of Prosak's deck. It's very hard for him to beat, is I guess what I'm trying to say. He doesn't have very many
there's an ensnaring
spells.
Bridge that he's getting off of Adam Prosak. He's getting off of Adam Prosak is getting off of Tezzeret. Adam Prosak, not himself a Planeswalker, so he can't get it off of himself. But yeah, that's going to slow the game down a little bit.
Right. Actually, Koepke with very little ways to deal with that in his deck. What he actually has to do, I believe here is he can staff of domination and lock up the entire game. Eventually, then he will draw another Goblin Welder, and will be able to weld the Ensnaring Bridge out of play. But until then, he's not going to be able to do much with this Ensnaring Bridge in play.
Ensnaring Bridge there, I'm sure you read up, there it is again. 8th edition rare, also originally from Stronghold, I believe. Creatures with power greater than the number of cards in your hand cannot attack.
So you might say with a Staff of Domination, it'd be very easy for Devin to just lock out the game here. I think the bigger problem is going to be that he can't, while he's not attacking, he has another Welder immediately.
Well, there's that.
All right. Well, that changes it. What I was going to say is Adam can continue to activate Tezzeret even with all his things being locked down by a Staff of Domination, but that is no longer the case. The Welder will put Koepke ahead again.
There's Goblin Welder, rare from Urza's Legacy. Tap to exchange target artifact a player controls for target artifact in that player's graveyard.
Right.
That change happens instantaneously. There are lots of oracle wordings for Goblin Welder. I won't go through all of them, but basically you exchange 2 artifacts.
Yes, you pick the 2 of them, and then an exchange occurs between them. All right, so Pithing Needle onto Goblin Welder.
So that's the redraw.
And this actually, Prosak may be able to do, between this Pithing Needle on Welder and the Ensnaring Bridge in his hand, may actually be able to lock Devin Koepke out of the game here.
These are it's just a very weird matchup here. Metalworker going into the red zone, trading with Baleful Strix, Goblin Welder attacking a Tezzeret, things that you wouldn't exactly expect to see in the X11 bracket. Needle obviously is naming Goblin Welder, for those of you that did not know.
So yeah, I think this game is going to be Prosak's here. Once he gets an Ensnaring Bridge down, if he can empty his own hand, I don't think Koepke has any way to interact with his deck anymore at this point.
That's right. Devin Koepke going over his options here. That Mox Opal that he has played does have Metalcraft with the Great Furnace and Grim Monolith. Adam Prosak will be able to tick up this Tezzeret after the Ensnaring Bridge hits play. Adam, a big fan of bridges, both ensnaring and from below.
Sure.
Having won a Legacy Open with Dredge a few months ago. And looking to win another one here.
So the question is, so once Adam Prosak, presumably if he's able to lock up the game with this Tezzeret, Ensnaring Bridge, and Pithing Needle, he'll presumably win the game just with the Tezzeret ultimate.
Yes, he can do that. Currently there's an appeal happening, which is why nothing's been happening on camera. We'll get you results of what the question was and what the results of the appeal are. So yeah, he can either he can tick up the Tezzeret, or he does have other Baleful Strixes. Those can he can draw for turn, and just pick away at Devin's life total.
Right.
But most likely, I would imagine, how many artifacts he would need? 9?
It's two per life total. I mean, if he actually has the game locked up, that shouldn't be hard at all.
Yeah.
The difficulty is that Koepke could, with the Staff of Domination in play, perhaps lock all of Adam's mana out of the game.
That's true.
It can tap permanents, right? It's not just creatures.
It can tap permanents, that's correct.
So if he actually had a Metalworker, presumably making some absurd amount of mana.
Yes.
He could staff Adam out of the game.
But if the Ensnaring Bridge is in play, they missed the Worm Coil tokens. Right. As did we. Look at that. So, well, that's a lapsing trigger.
So they will not get the Worm Coil
tokens. So Adam is actually just going to turn this Pithing Needle into a 5/5 and bash into the red zone. He will then play Trinket Mage. He has quite the array of things that he can go get here. The Sensei's Divining Top and Pithing Needle are already in play. He can also go and get either a Chalice of the Void, a Nihil Spellbomb, or a Chrome Mox, as well as Artifact Lands. 1 Vault of Whispers and 1 Seat of the Synod in his main deck. He's going to choose to go get the Vault of Whispers. Yeah, for those of you unfamiliar with the new lapsing trigger rules, if they miss the trigger and enough time has passed, and you don't have to tell your opponent that they've missed a trigger anymore, and you will not get
Yeah, the previous play I was talking about, actually, and thank you for those of you on Twitter. I'll be the first to admit I don't know too much. I have not played too many matches with Staff of Domination. Staff of Domination does not tap permanents. It only
taps creatures.
Okay, it only taps creatures. So he can't lock. He can't actually lock Adam out of the game with it.
It is still going to be difficult for Devin to win, especially with this 5/5 Pithing Needle.
Sure.
Facing him down. Although Lodestone Golem does a decent job switching that up. So
now, interesting here that he's allowing the Pithing Needle to die.
Interesting.
And this will immediately enable Goblin Welder. I'm not sure. I'm wondering what Adam Prosak's plan is on that. This could actually backfire on him pretty hard.
So here's the bridge. Now, the options here are Devin can try to get an artifact back from his graveyard. Probably the Worm Coil Engine.
Yeah, he'll get the Worm Coil Engine back for now.
He's going to get the Worm Coil back.
And the exchange the exchange, I believe, does not do death triggers. Is that correct? It's actually an exchange.
Yes.
So you can't, go infinite with the Worm Coil, so to speak. As soon as if he can manage to kill another artifact of Adam Prosak's, he can then start, he can swap the Ensnaring Bridge out. You wouldn't really want to swap it out for the Pithing Needle. That doesn't really accomplish much, but...
Devin has a Sphere of Resistance and a Wasteland in hand. He doesn't have he has options off of the Welder, I suppose, but with that Ensnaring Bridge in play, I'm not sure what he's going to do other than attack here, which will only put him to 9. Oh, Wasteland on the 5/5 Vault of Whispers.
David Bauer.
He's going to weld out the Ensnaring Bridge for the Vault of Whispers.
Round number 3 is ready to begin.
Yeah. Prosak did pay the extra mana for the Tezzeret when the Lodestone was in play. One of his lands was an Ancient Tomb, in response to a question we had online.
So it looks like Worm Coil Engine will come in and attack. I'm not sure whether it's attacking Tezzeret or Adam. I believe it attacked Adam. Devin going up to 9. Oh no, it attacked. It didn't matter who it attacked, I suppose, because the Trinket Mage blocked. Blocked with Trinket Mage, yes. So It did attack Tezzeret, I see. Adam looking at the top 3 cards of his library, not seeing what he wants, going and fetching an island. Adam is going to have a little bit of predicament here.
Yeah, I still feel like going back and letting that. I'm still going back to the point where Adam Prosak, he lets the Pithing Needle go, which is
huge.
Huge. Yeah. Well, I mean, it does. The problem is that Welder. I mean, it might be that Adam Prosak misses that the Welder works on both players, especially in a matchup where both players are heavy artifact decks. Welder is one of those obnoxiously good cards. So probably it's probably strong enough that Prosak, were you to draw a turn 1 Pithing Needle, just blind would name Goblin Welder in this matchup.
He's got Force of Will and Tezzeret in hand. I cannot see what the other cards are.
Yeah, the big problem is that if he makes, he'd like to get that Ensnaring Bridge back. I don't think Adam in his deck has any way to recur an artifact from his graveyard.
He has Academy. He has 1 Academy Ruins.
Okay. He does have 3 Ensnaring Bridges. The biggest thing is he has other artifacts in his graveyard. So it's still going to be very difficult for him to get an Ensnaring Bridge or anything like that in play because he can trade it into a Pithing Needle right now.
So Adam has Brainstorm and Jace and Chalice of the Void on top, I believe. Now, one thing that Adam can do here is he can bounce the Worm Coil Engine with the Jace. Sure. And then counter the Worm Coil Engine on the way back down, but that doesn't really accomplish much because of the...
Tezzeret number 1's going to leave the battlefield to make Vault of Whispers a 5/5.
And then he's going to make the other one 5/5.
And that's going to be lethal.
So there's 10. Well, the extra...
Prosak swings in, finds lethal on an unfriendly board state and takes the first game.
Very nice.
One of the harder matches here to watch just because of the different nature of both of the decks.
A little mentally exhausted there, wiping his face. Both players, I'm sure, were not ready for this matchup. They weren't coming into the X11 bracket expecting to see their opponent's deck. So yeah, Adam used the last counter on his Tezzeret that was in play to turn Vault of Whispers into a 5/5.
Right. So a lot of people on Twitter, I guess, who have played these cards are helping us out a little bit. Apparently, the Goblin Welder trigger is a simultaneous sacrifice in return. So with Wormcoil Engine, it does pretty much go infinite with a Wormcoil Engine. You can sacrifice the worms to get the engine back and sack the engine back.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And I'm sure I'm sure Devin knew that when he was building the deck.
Yes, probably certainly.
Looking at the sideboards here, Adam has Leyline in the Void.
Sure.
An interesting option. We'll have to see if he uses it.
I mean, it's not really for this matchup.
Yeah, it's not for this matchup at all, but it is there. He does not have many other things to be able to bring in here. I see he has a Tormod's Crypt. Seems much more useful because he has Trinket Mage to be able to one-shot a graveyard.
There aren't too many cards in Adam's board. He has Leyline of the Void, Curse Scroll, Perish, Chalice of the Void, Engineered Explosives. A lot of these are probably not very good against Welder Mud.
He does have Liliana of the Veil, which seems decent.
Seems okay. If there's a card in his main deck that's really not pulling its weight, I suppose he can bring that in. The bigger problem is that, it's still a double-colored Planeswalker, and Devin is still essentially, he is trying to lock, basically be very aggressive with mana denial.
That's fair. So
on Devin's side, he has a few more options. He could go for an early Blood Moon against Adam Prosak. He did not see many basics. There obviously are some islands and swamps, so he can try to Blood Moon Adam, which could be pretty good here. Other things he has is he has a Mindslaver and a Karn Liberated, both of which I think we might see in here. This is a slower match, and really both players, with the amount of artifacts they have, are going to be able to just swing haymakers back and forth at each other. Yeah,
I absolutely agree that both Mindslaver and Karn Liberated seem very good here. Interesting to note, though, Devin did not see the Chrome Moxes out of Adam's deck.
Right.
So he probably thinks the Blood Moon plan is better than it actually is.
Right, the Chrome Mox is going to be a very good answer to Blood Moon.
However, since Baleful Strix is an artifact creature, you cannot imprint a Chrome Mox with a Baleful Strix.
Because Chrome Mox reads non-artifact?
Non-artifact creature.
Right.
Or non-artifact card. Shuffling up here for game 2. So the Legacy format not nearly as gristle-branded as was once reported.
Yeah, both these players are X1 and 1, so we are at round 8 of 9. There's 2 rounds to go. The winner of this will likely have to win the next round, but then we'll be in top 8.
Both players already having the 1 draw and the 1 loss, and they're going to have to win out in order to make top 8.
Right.
So this is basically a playoff game.
Devin is going to start on 6 for this hand.
He's going to start on 6 on the play. Not very good.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's fair. Though with how his deck works, I believe there's probably a lot of hands where if Devin has the right 2 or 3 cards, he actually stops his opponent from playing the game entirely, would be my guess. If we see something with Ancient Tombs, Sphere of Resistance, and maybe a Lodestone Golem, maybe it doesn't actually matter that he is only on 6 cards.
Lodestone Golem probably came out, I would imagine.
Maybe. It's still really so central to his strategy, just because, Adam's deck does play artifacts, but its business cards aren't artifacts. You're letting Adam play cards like Ensnaring Bridge on the cheap, which is great, but really the cards Adam's wanting to cast or to win with are Tezzerets and things like that. So in that sense, I guess, I'd probably keep in my Lodestone Golem, even though it's not as good as I'd like it to be. Prosak, meanwhile, is keeping a 7-card hand.
Yes, both players are playing for top 8. I know Prosak is normally a pretty jovial individual, so they're both very serious here, though, because they're playing for a slot in the top 8. Devin leads off with an Ancient Tomb and does not play anything off of it, unlike last game, which immediately came out with a Grim Monolith.
Sure.
Adam Prosak searching up an Underground Sea. This will likely lead to a turn 1 discard spell. Thoughtseize, perhaps. And there it is.
All right. And
Devin
clearly disappointed in the Thoughtseize. Yeah, he would have had the turn 2 Lodestone Golem, but that's almost certainly going to get taken.
Yep. Devin's hand is Great Furnace, Staff of Domination, Lodestone Golem, Wormcoil Engine, and City of Traders.
Yeah. So Lodestone Golem will go.
Yep. Adam gingerly placing the Lodestone Golem in the graveyard and kindly passing Devin's hand that was so rudely thrown at him back. He's going to throw a Lightning Greaves on the board. They're just having fun out there, I guess. For our benefit, I suppose. Baleful Strix from Adam Prosak, drawing him another land. It looks like he's got 3 more lands in his hand.
So Devin, his next land is City of Traders, and he'll go for Metalworker out of that one. So possibly does and suit up with Lightning Greaves. All right, how much mana does he have here? Metalworker, Lightning Greaves, reveals.
Deciding how much he wants to give away here.
Well, he knows. Prosak knows his hand. I think Prosak is saying you have to show it to me. Okay,
yeah.
And he shows. Sure, that's fine.
Sure. 1 mana floating. Probably will not use it.
No, what he can do, so many moves on Staff of Domination. 2 mana, he gains a life, which clearly you wouldn't do off an Ancient Tomb. 3 mana untaps a creature, 4 mana taps a creature, 5 mana draws a card, and 1 mana untaps it to use again.
Yes.
So
he can gain infinite life if he has infinite mana.
Sure.
Tap all of his opponent's creatures and draw his entire library.
With less than infinite mana, the life gain on Staff of Domination really doesn't become much of an ability. It's the fact that when you start getting a lot of mana, it can do a lot of things.
An arbitrarily large amount of life.
My guess is that we'll see him draw a lot of cards off Staff of Domination, as we're seeing right now. Okay, so he's going to untap Metalworker, it looks like. So he actually, with Metalworker, he can set up, with enough artifacts in hand, he can set up an infinite combo here. If it'll take 4 mana from to untap a creature and untap Staff of Domination. If Metalworker can tap for 6 colorless mana,
so Devin
this will be an
needs 3 artifacts in hand. Yes.
Yeah. Once Devin gets 3 artifacts in hand, he will be able to gain infinite life right now. Which really, I believe, has 2 artifacts. Is very close to being a quite real play.
Now he can turn. So he's going to look at the top 5 of his library. Try and find an artifact from among them and put the.
See if this thing, the only artifact in there.
Yep.
Prosak has to watch out. This opponent is very close to being an infinite life, and I don't believe Prosak has a win condition at that point.
It's important to note that if Prosak turns the Lightning Greaves into a 5/5, it can no longer be equipped to the Metalworker.
He's saying you have to tap the Staff of Domination.
Yes. So if he has a Swords or a Jace or something like that, and can get the Metalworker off of the table before Devin goes infinite.
Karn liberated now in Devin Koepke's hand. He's gonna destroy his own City of Traders by playing Wasteland.
It looks like he has at least a Great Furnace in hand. So
all right, here's 3 artifacts, and he's gonna explain it. I think he's finally explaining to Prosak right now. 3, and this is going to go infinite here. Well, I don't believe he has gone infinite. Instead, he just made Karn liberated. So correct me if I'm wrong here. There is an infinite combo here, though. I believe.
I believe you're right. I don't think that he is doing it.
Yeah, Staff of Domination is one of those cards that is typically, when it does things that are good, it does things that are blatantly unfair.
Yeah, it does a little bit of everything, but when you have an arbitrarily large amount of mana, it can do pretty much everything that you would ever want to do.
Yeah. Well, I guess it means most cards, it's either doing not very much or it's infinite comboing.
Adam's going to go to 15. Devin's going to show him the hand that he knew the contents of already.
Right, and so now that
taking the Wormcoil Engine.
Now that Koepke's down to 2 artifacts, he no longer has his combo set up. Or he no longer has the possibility for a combo to be set up.
There's the Seat of the Synod and Jace. Jace, the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah. So actually, to be fair, with Devin Koepke gained infinite life. Had he gained infinite life, Prosak does have a way to win. He does have Jace, the Mind Sculptor, in his deck.
Aha. So even with infinite life.
Oh, okay. All right. Good point here on Twitter. You can't gain infinite life because the Metalworker currently has Shroud.
Oh,
so he needs to find another creature.
So he would need to put another creature in play. Wow.
Okay.
So Staff of Domination cannot target the Metalworker.
Yes, we've seen this pretty much. Thank you.
Gains
All right.
Shroud. Wow. Very good. Very good point.
I think one of the things we've seen a lot of.
Man,
I'm
sorry for missing the standard Staff of Domination.
That makes 2 of us.
Yeah.
I think after seeing a lot of standard, you're just seeing a lot of hexproof. But no, Shroud is not hexproof, as many of you have reminded us here.
Well, this is a board state that I have not seen before.
Okay.
Karn is going to tick up, removing a card from Adam's hand. Karn will go ultimate before Jace does.
Yeah, and it's not even the ultimate. It's that Prosak is -2ing the Karn every turn, but Karn's can +4 every turn. So Devin can eventually get the Karn to a point where it can eat the Jace.
Yeah, once again, the Metalworker does have Shroud, and without a second creature to equip the Lightning Greaves to, he cannot go infinite or ad infinitum or arbitrarily large with the Staff of Domination Metalworker combo.
Devin has drawn a Blood Moon as well, which he's opting not to cast.
Blood Moon would shut Adam out of black mana.
Yeah,
Jace is going to brainstorm here, finding not a whole lot as far as I can tell. Looked like 2 lands and a brainstorm. There's Brainstorm, Jace, Ensnaring Bridge, Baleful Strix, number 3, and something else, which I can't tell. There's a Chromox and Ancient Tomb also added.
So in order to break the board parity here, or to really deal with the Karn, Adam's going to need to find a creature. So I mean, these Baleful Strixes are good. They're not going to really... It's very slowly chip at the Karn. He's probably hoping to find a Tezzeret or something.
He also found a Pithing Needle.
Okay, well that will also
work. Which
will
also take care of it. Pithing Needle very good in this matchup. Can name any number of things on Devin's side of the board. In play and not in play. Probably naming one of the things that's in play. Presumably Karn.
Probably Karn Liberated.
Although if Devin manages to find and land another creature, that will be infinite life.
I think he only has 2 artifacts in his hand right now, but yeah.
He has to find another creature.
Right.
I suppose.
Which is important, but not all important right now, as Adam does have a Jace the Mind Sculptor on the board.
So this was a Chrome Mox with a black card on it, as well as Ancient Tomb.
Yeah, if he gets his combo going, I mean, Devin will be able to draw his entire deck and gain infinite life. Presumably, there will be, enough in there to take care of whatever Adam Prosak does.
The Lilianas did come in. One is imprinting.
It's imprinted on the Chrome Mox.
Imprinted on the Chrome Mox. So Adam did have an answer to the Shrouded Metalworker.
Sure.
A couple turns later, of course.
Yes.
Adam also brought in the Cursed Scroll. Very interesting. He searches for Sensei's Divining Top and knocks his hand off of the table there, grabs it quite quickly.
He's in the Pithing Needle, the Staff of Domination. I think the idea is that it's much easier to deal with the Karn through things like these Strixes, whereas, I mean, being dead to an out of Kevin drawing another creature is a pretty bad place to be. This is probably a safer play for him.
Yeah, and he can also now start attacking the Karn for 5 next turn.
Right, well, he needs to make sure that can happen. I mean, Metalworker Staff can only tap down 1 creature, I believe, the number of artifacts he has. Otherwise, you don't. If Karn gets to a point where Karn can, because Staff can't tap anything now.
Yes.
So if Karn gets to a point where Karn can eat the Pithing Needle, and that would be the worry, is that he needs to make sure that it does not get to that point.
Wasteland on Seat of the Synod. Devin has the option of playing a Blood Moon here if he so chooses. I'm not sure if that does much, other than save damage from his own Ancient Tomb. There's the Blood Moon. That's going to shut Adam out of double black, I guess. Blood Moon, non-basic lands or mountains. Pretty simple, pretty cut and dried. Been in Standard a couple of times. Originally printed way back in the day.
In the dark.
In the dark. This one appears to be a Chronicles Blood Moon. Karn is going to try and is going to successfully take something out of Adam's hand. What it was, I cannot say. It's hiding behind our game counter up at the top there.
I mean, Jace will effectively replace those cards in his hand. So Adam needs to decide whether he wants to brainstorm or try to fate seal out of the game. He's going to go with the brainstorm option, which is probably correct. You see, we were wondering about him bringing the Cursed Scroll in. That's almost certainly a nod to Goblin Welder in the matchup.
Yep. So he keeps the... So he's going to attack first, which would put the Karn to 2. He's probably going to play a second combat Cursed Scroll here to deal the last 2 damage.
All right, once he gets he's going to get the Karn off the battlefield, and that should be that will be very good for Adam here.
That Karn is going to the bin. And Thoughtseize is going to snag another artifact out of Devin's hand. He has Grim Monolith, Mox Diamond, and Great Furnace. Looks like it snags the Grim Monolith. Adam, life total goes below 10 from his own Ancient Tomb. So the Blood Moon was in play. Adam tapped the Ancient Tomb for I think they're discussing how much mana it was tapped for. I think Adam did it correctly. Devin really behind the 8-ball here with 2 lands and not a whole lot of action, although there's a Kuldotha Forge Master.
Kuldotha Forge Master, actually right here. How many artifacts are remaining in Devin's hand?
2.
Unfortunately, okay, so he can... Ooh, alright. So if he sacks the Lightning, he's going to sack the Lightning Greaves.
Among the other... Well, first he's going to re-equip the Lightning Greaves. Then he's going to sack 3 artifacts and search his library for an artifact card and put it onto the battlefield. He's got some good targets.
Yeah, he has Mindslaver. He has Platinum Empyrean, not a great target right now. Sundering Titan.
Yeah, none of those options look particularly good right now, actually.
Well, one of the questions is whether or not, if he had held enough artifacts in his hand, if he could have gotten rid of the Lightning Greaves and the Kuldotha Forge Master simply to get something and then go infinite.
Yes.
You know, possibly to get... well, I don't know if it's something which bounces back to his hand.
Looks like he's just going to go get a Worm Coil Engine. Not the most exciting get, but it is going to gain haste, take down Jace.
I'll put Devin Koepke back up to a 17.
Yes. Even with that play, Adam Prosak still well in control of this game. He has a Jace the Mind Sculptor either in his hand or on top of his library. He has 3 Baleful Strixes that can stay back on defense now.
Lightning Greaves will move back over to Metalworker. So Devin Koepke pulling back into the game.
Clawing his way back into the game.
And another
There's
Jace.
The Jace. The Ancient Tomb, of course, not tapping for 2 mana because of the Blood Moon that's in play. Adam weighing his options here. He can either Brainstorm or bounce probably the Worm Coil Engine, possibly the Forge Master. He's going to Brainstorm here, dig for a different answer. Finding an Ensnaring Bridge and 2 lands. And passing the turn right back to Devin Koepke with untapped Baleful Strixes. Devin can now Kuldotha Forge Master again if he wants, although that's pretty dangerous.
Well, the bigger thing is Koepke does have a second Staff of Domination in his deck. If he does get enough, if he gets enough artifacts in his hand, he can reset up an infinite combo. Which he may have to do is Adam Prosak, once he finds an Ensnaring Bridge, can essentially Ensnaring Bridge Devin. Ensnaring Bridge to stop and just sit behind Jace most of the time.
Cavern is going to name Golem for Devin Koepke. I imagine that both, Sundering Titan, I believe, is a Golem, as is Kuldotha Forge Master.
We'll go ahead and check on that. I believe you're right on both of those, though.
So even if the Kuldotha Forge Master is bounced, it can be recast without being countered.
Right.
Devin deciding if he wants to come in on this attack here.
Well, I think he, in a certain sense, he almost wants the Wormcoil Engine to die.
So he has 2 artifacts to sack to this first activation of a Koldotha, meaning he won't have to sacrifice both the Lingering Souls and the Metalworker, or itself. There is Joey Pasco and Big Head Joe, the life and death tokens off of the Wormcoil Engine. This time, no lapsing trigger needed. No lapsing trigger ruling needed, I should specify.
Right, end step, he'll reveal the Ensnaring Bridge to deal 2 damage to Devin Koepke.
So this will chip away at Devin's life total, providing a win condition. Oh, this is main phase.
Okay, main phase. Okay,
deal
so
2
main
damage
phase 2 and then cast it.
And now pretty much all Adam has to do is sit back and wait, unless Devin goes and gets the Mind Slaver and can activate it in the same turn.
I mean, if Devin can assemble a Staff of Domination combo, he'll be able to draw his whole deck. So the question would be, what can he do with drawing his whole deck?
He would need to find a way to deal with the Ensnaring Bridge.
Well, it should be fine. He can. Well, the first. Well, so say Devin picked up his whole deck and put it in his hand right now. What he can do is he can gain infinite life, draws the whole deck. He can Goblin Welder away a duplicant repeatedly with another artifact to create a whole bundle of tokens. Get rid of all of Adam's creatures. The question is, what can he do about the Ensnaring Bridge? He does not have an actual card that answers it. I mean, so he could welder the Ensnaring Bridge away too.
Drawing Lodestone Golem to go along with Mox Diamond in hand.
Yeah.
He's going to show the 4 mana. Likely play this Lodestone Golem only to sacrifice it to Koldotha Forge Master.
Well, my guess is if he's trying to set up for a staff combo, he actually needs to have 3 artifacts in his hand.
Yeah.
Which is not, okay, that's not his game plan, so it's not what he's going to do here.
No, I think the game plan is going to be to Mind Slaver Adam after Adam ultimates Jace, perhaps?
Right, well, Adam's not aware of Devin's list, so maybe, yeah, he'll let Jace get up to 13. But to be honest, Adam will probably just continue to brainstorm the Jace. I'm not sure that opportunity will actually present itself.
Adam can win the game with Cursed Scroll. He does not need Jace to win the game for him. So the cavern
still needs to name something, despite the fact that it's a mountain. It still isn't. And I believe when it comes into play, no, I'm not certain.
It is an as.
It still is an as. So I think you'll still pick something when
Adam
it comes
now
into play.
has Academy Ruins to be able to go through lots of.
It's not going to be
additional choices. He also finds the 4th Baleful Strix on top of his library. So Adam can now attack for 2 in the air, activate Cursed Scroll to deal 2 more, and then play his 3rd Baleful Strix. This represents a decent clock. That's 5 damage a turn.
Sure.
Devin has no flyers in his deck. And no way to deal damage anymore with Ensnaring Bridge in play.
Alright, so the first thing he needs to do is he needs to get rid of the needle with Goblin Welder, which he doesn't have yet. Provided Prosak then can hold up Cursed Scroll to deal with the potential Welder, so it doesn't get, as long as the Welder doesn't get a Lightning Greaves on it. Prosak should be able to sit behind this wall. Yeah, but with the Cursed Scroll that shouldn't happen.
Three artifacts hitting the bin for Devin, including the Koldotha Forge Master. Devin is going to search his library and find...
Well, I'm not entirely certain here.
He only has 2 mana up.
Yeah, so Mind Slaver doesn't actually...
There's the Mind Slaver.
Get.
If he needs to... if he has an Ancient Tomb... Nope, that doesn't do it either. Because Ancient Tomb would just be a mountain. Looks like Devin has Mox Diamond and Mox Diamond and can't tell. Pass the turn. Adam is going to get a Underground Sea. Very expensive mountain this game. 3 attacking artifact birds. I'm going to put Devin to 16. He's going to tick up Jace, allowing Devin to keep another copy of Blood Moon. Adam will almost certainly play around the Mindslaver he now sees in play, unless he's foolish. These 2 Mox Diamonds will hit the bin. The Mox Diamonds, by the way, have a new Oracle text that says if they would come into play, they don't, so that you can't do neat Kuldotha Forge Master tricks with them in a stacked, on the stack.
Sure.
So 2 damage to Devin, puts him to 14. From Cursed Scroll at end of turn. Jace is going to tick up again.
It's 9, yeah, and Adam really in control here.
It looks like a Chalice of the Void to me.
And that'll be fine. He'll let him keep that.
3 more pecks at Devin Koepke's life total. Drops him to 11. Chalice of the Void on 1. Not particularly relevant at this stage of the game, but it is something to do.
Yeah, Adam basically racing to win, you know, on two different axes here. You have damage and Jace.
Yes. I imagine that just in case Adam won't bump Jace up to the requisite 12, right? 12?
Yeah, it's 12 to ultimate or
Yeah,
Jace.
so he'll keep it at 11 most likely. So Devin is going to drop to 6, then drop to 4 from the Cursed Scroll, and then next turn, before Jace even has a chance to go up to 13, he's going to win through damage. Adam has a Tezzeret. This will also be another way to win for Adam. He can look at the top 5. And then next turn he can fireball his opponent for several. He's going to choose Vault of Whispers,
Sure.
play it, and pass. Oh, maybe not pass.
Well, I mean, really, yeah. No, I mean he hasn't attacked yet this turn.
Ah, he hasn't. I thought he did attack.
But
I apologize.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Right.
I mean he's winning on so many different axes. It's this game is pretty much out of reach for Devin.
He's going to attack with 2 this time, keeping 1 back, just in case that Lodestone Golem finds a way to attack. Adam's life total is only 11 after all.
Yeah, it doesn't actually improve the clock by swinging that, so...
Chalice for 0 for Devin. Pretty much just
And Devin, yeah,
making
Devin
Adam
can see
do it
we
here.
have scroll, untap, scroll, swing 3 birds for 7. And put Jace at...
and
Or
also
make a
for
bird
million with
or make a bird
Tezzeret.
at 5/5 with Tezzeret. There's a... Yeah.
Yep, and there's the
All right,
end
and we'll get
of
the
the game.
concession
So
here. So Adam Prosak 2-0 defeats Devin Koepke.
Adam Prosak with blue-black Tezzeret, featuring a playset of Plane Chase 2's Baleful Strix from Night of the Ninja. Night of the Ninja is the ninja-themed Plane Chase deck.
Okay.
Baleful Strix has a come-into-play ability, so and it also has evasion, and also has Death Touch, so you don't really want to block it very often. So if you can attack it and be unmolested into your opponent's life total, you can ninja it